have tuned in to episode 252 of the Weekly InSalt. Thank you guys for joining us and listening to a very interesting conversation with me, CD Reddish, and my co-host, Wade Lassen. How are you doing, brother?
Good, man. How are you?
And our sound engineer, Kurt Wallstrom. How are you doing, brother?
I'm good. How are you?
You sound a little raspy.
Your voice, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I
ate too many raspberries
I
or
sound
something.
like Roz from...
I kind of like it. It's got like a 2 Chainz kind of vibe or something.
Yeah.
I sound like Roz from Monsters, Inc., you know? Mike Wazowski.
I think you sound like a...
I have no idea what that... I
Like
don't
a
get
You
that
haven't seen
reference.
Monsters, Inc.? What the fuck's wrong with you?
I don't watch cartoons.
Well, so you know what it is then.
I'm an adult.
It's not a cartoon.
Sorry, I like to make fun of adults that watch cartoons.
It's not a cartoon, though.
What's wrong with cartoons?
It's CG. It's 3D animation.
It's an anime, whatever. I don't know. I'm just joking with you guys, but we want to thank you, all of our listeners, for tuning in for episode 252, which is a palindrome. 252, 2 plus
You're
5
right.
plus 2 is 7.
Very small one.
Minus integers. But anyway, we are joined by a very special guest this week, our dear friend Donald Seher. How you doing, brother?
Hello.
Hey, welcome to the show, man.
Yeah.
This is it.
This is it. Great.
Since we hit record, did it change much?
No.
Yeah, it doesn't usually. There's one thing that I have to talk about first. Y'all people driving around. Let me rephrase that. You people driving around the Salt Lake Valley kind of fucking suck.
Oh.
We just driving from where we met up to my house. I saw some of the craziest stuff during rush hour. I'm so glad I don't have to drive during rush hour.
Yeah.
I've been on the phone with you and you've like cursed people out.
Yeah, I feel like my work truck that I bought, if I got $5 for every time I honked the horn
Yeah.
since I bought it, I already paid off the truck.
Let me clarify, the listeners, you guys are fine. Like I know you guys are safe drivers. You do a great job, you know?
Nah.
It's all
probably
the other
not.
people that aren't listening to this podcast that suck.
Yeah,
Like
they're
me.
the enemy.
The enemy.
I'm a horrible driver. Like I'm one of the worst drivers on earth.
Yeah, that's fair.
I shouldn't be behind the wheel. Like,
So Donald, why do you say that? Like,
I get distracted. I'm easily just like driving along and look, maybe I should go get a hot dog. Oh no, wait, oh yeah. Next thing I know, I've gone a quarter mile and I'm doing 95 and
Yeah.
I'm not a very attentive driver.
I would say I'm like more of a grandma driver. I wouldn't say I'm a good driver, but I'm very cautious and slow and
That's
you know,
not true at all, man. You are like one of the angriest drivers.
with me. Yeah, sure, but because my horn, I will. If no, seriously, no, seriously. If I can see, if I'm trying to merge into a lane, and this happens quite often because of the exits that I live off of,
Sure.
off 215. There's the Union Park and the 20th East exit. There's lots of lanes of traffic to cross. Quite often, it's 3 or 4 lanes of traffic, and if someone doesn't want to let you in, and it's a red light, it's like, why aren't you letting me in? You want to get to that red light so fast, so I will honk at them before they even get, like, they're not letting me in. I'm just honk.
Here's the thing about merging lanes that might blow your mind. You're the one merging, so they don't have to let you.
I know, but what's the point of getting to the fucking red light so quick?
They're ahead of you. And you're less than them.
So what, they need to get to the
I
Wiener
think the-
Schnitzel faster
think
than
the
I do?
fucking-
Of course.
the
Yeah, you
handbook-
see hot dogs, you're distracted, like, oh, I want hot dogs. Yeah, you must live in Midvale, like by the Wiener
I think
Schnitzel.
technically the handbook says is like if you get on the freeway and it's gridlocked, right? Complete traffic jam, you're getting on the freeway. None of those people have to be nice and let you in. They don't have to. They just do. Yeah.
This is the land of opportunity and
not anymore. This is LA, bitch.
loving.
You see how populated it's getting?
Dude, the fucking traffic in LA is way better than here, bro.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
no
'cause
shit,
they
because
know how to-
everybody from there came here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's yeah. Fuck. Yeah. Good point.
it's funny how your voice didn't sound weird when you said that.
I know. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
That's I do Mongolian throat singing at the bar on
He's this upcoming. Check out
Sunday.
on SoundCloud. That's Kurt. He's upcoming Mongolian throat singer.
Can you sound check that one more time?
Wait a second. Has anybody else here ever heard of a band called The Who?
Yeah.
HU?
Oh.
Is it Mongolian throat singing?
They're not throat singing. They're a Mongolian rock band, and
Yeah.
they freaking rock.
Do they? Do they really?
Yeah.
You know what you need to do, Kurt.
It's metal. it's fantastic Mongolian metal.
Be careful, Kurt. You put on something that, ooh, you trigger me, man.
What's it called again? Just
The-
H.
yeah,
HU.
Yeah, the
HU.
HU.
The Who.
But yeah, honestly, the driving is getting worse, I think, because we're getting more crowded, and that's just the way things are.
Also, we've
it
had some
happens.
incredibly
ready for this?
Shit weather.
Oh, here, yeah, shit weather.
Dude, this looks pretty good.
I don't see it.
You want to put it up there?
Yeah, we didn't drill 7 holes in my wall to put that TV up there.
You know,
So I
you could have
can't
used
see it.
epoxy.
Yeah, that probably would have been better after we found out that the wall is only like not that far, or the concrete's not that
I
far.
don't know if we're in a.
No, this has got to be a music video. Yeah, jump to the most played part.
Yeah, skip ahead here. What's going on?
Yeah. They're playing some PlayStation.
Some ads. There we go.
No band. Okay, I'm down. Okay, so he's on a typical like rocky coast.
Oh, that's got to be Iceland or something.
Mongolia.
Now jump ahead a little bit. Let's hear
It's
some
Mongolia. Like they're showing off their country while they're doing this.
I'm down with this, man. This is me.
Yeah,
I'd go to their concert.
Oh, I missed it. They played at the complex like 2 years ago.
So they came here.
Yeah, they came here. They played at the complex like 2 years ago, and I couldn't find anybody to go with me. So I didn't go.
I'll go. Anytime they're here.
I'll tell you what, Donald, if you want to see them again, the next time or whenever Kurt gets married, this is going to be the band playing at his wedding.
I think the Rolling Stones are going to play at his wedding.
Yeah, Keith Richards' Ghost is going to be in the palm tree at the complex.
Yeah.
I think we have a better chance of seeing Rush live than we do of Kurt's
Kurt
wedding.
getting married. Yeah. I don't know.
Ooh, how dare
seen
you,
crazier
Donald?
shit.
Throwing out the jokes already.
I love him, but I don't think he's ever going to get married.
No, I have no intentions of getting married.
Dude, even if you found like this girl that blew your mind away, would you get married?
It would have to be a complete mind fuck.
Okay.
She's not literally.
I don't want to get married either, but well, I mean, let's just throw it out there. I mean, it's a bunch of dudes. I don't know if anyone wants to hear, but this got recently brought up in a topic of conversation, like your hall pass, if you will.
Okay, yeah, like your hall pass celebrity.
Yeah. Who's your hall pass?
Drew Barrymore.
Drew
Nice.
Barrymore? Really? Okay, hold on. 1996, Dave Letterman, Drew Barrymore?
Modern day tomorrow, Drew Barrymore.
Oh, God, man.
I've had a crush on that girl since I saw her in E.T.
How dare you?
She's
How
old.
dare
She's
you.
older than me. It's allowed.
Drew Barrymore. I love Drew Barrymore, by the way, but
She does have that
she
kind
has
of
that TV
sweetheart thing, and like,
Yeah,
yeah, she does.
But she has this TV show on network television. I don't know, it's on Fox or CBS or whatever, but it's like network television, one of the 4
Her
channels.
talk show.
Yeah, her talk show. The Drew Barrymore show.
Yeah,
She
it's not
is
good.
so obnoxious.
Yeah, I
so
saw some clips of it. I'm not impressed. It
She-
happens though.
She's trying to Ellen. And
Or
she's
Oprah.
trying a little too hard.
Or Oprah,
Well, Ellen tried to Oprah, and she did a good job. And then now Ellen's worth fucking $400 million or
Sure.
something.
Sure.
Okay. So, Drew Barrymore. That's good to know, Donald.
Yeah.
Now I can judge you.
Well,
Because you know who might? I have one similar. It's Jodie Sweetin. Stephanie Tanner. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
what?
Yes.
We've talked about this before, and I'm
would-
pretty sure you showed me a picture, and I was like, all right.
Yeah, I would chop off my
We're
left
different
nut.
We're all
Fair.
different generations. I mean, like I developed a crush on Drew Barrymore from E.T. I was 4.
Okay, so we're the same age. Yeah.
No, I'm 44.
Okay. Close.
E.T.
Close-ish.
came out in
He still didn't say his age.
82,
Nice.
83.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, I was 4 when I saw her for the first time, and I was like, oh, wow, she's a really pretty girl.
Yeah.
And I've always thought she's a really pretty girl. Like, through my whole life, I've seen pictures of her and thought, wow, she's really pretty. She's really pretty. She's really pretty. And if I had my chance, it's...
Yeah, you'd have to
apparently
shoot that shot.
Apparently Donald did not see Firestarter.
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I saw
So
that.
that's some
I was a
fire by
little-
friction, bro. I'd be very careful if it. You know what I mean? It's you don't want to. No one likes a burnt hot dog. What about you, Wade, brother?
I don't know, man. Like a hall pass level, dude. There's so many. I couldn't choose. I would just keep the hall pass in my back pocket for a real bad day.
You're single. You don't have to.
That's true.
That is the lame. You can't cop out, bro. At least throw it like,
Dude,
Katy Perry or
when
Miley
I was
Cyrus.
young, the first female actress that I was like, oh shit, was Kate Hudson probably.
Okay, so now we know that Wade's hall pass is really a guy.
Why?
Oh, Guy. If we're going to go Guy, what the hell is his name? I can't remember his name now. Halt and Catch Fire. The lead actor in that. I can't think of his name.
Is that the AMC show, Halt and Catch Fire? I like that female actress. I can't remember her name either. That really tall.
Do you remember the lead actor, the tall?
No, I never watched the show.
I'm still trying to
It
figure
looked
out why you
interesting.
think Kate Hudson is a guy.
No, I just think that you I'm just going to keep my hall pass in my back.
If I was I would actually waste a hall pass and not have sex with the person if I could just like talk to Natalie Portman for like a couple hours.
Oh my god.
She's smart as fuck, dude.
Oh, yeah, that'd be
dumb.
Cool. I think it would be really interesting to sit and have a good conversation with like Cindy Crawford too.
Yeah.
What about Cindy Crawford's daughter?
I'd probably waste my hall pass on Bobby Flay's daughter. Let's be honest.
Oh shit!
Bobby Flay's daughter.
I didn't even know he had children.
Dude, she's fire. He has a show with. You didn't know Bobby Flay had children?
No.
I mean, he's rich. He's famous.
He's old.
He's got children.
I thought he just had a lisp and always cooked with Calabrian chilies.
Man. He started the show with his daughter. That she's so hot that he started the show that's like, I just eat food with my daughter, and I'm like, yeah, I see why you did that. It's fucking good for you, man. Like wherever those jeans came from. Both, and I mean both the jeans she's wearing and the jeans that she was made from.
Kurt, do you have a?
I do.
Yeah?
I do. Of course I do. What do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, let's hear it in
Kristen
your rasp.
Kish.
Kristen Kish. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Kurt. Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, you're okay. You like a.
Are you being serious? Is that like your is that yours?
Absolutely.
For real? Okay, hell yeah.
I've seen her.
I have
She's
no doubt.
so to the listener.
No doubt.
Have you
that's
seen?
true.
Were you here when we talked to Justice or Ice? He's been on the show before. The Black Widow. Have you seen her play pool?
Jeanette Lee, yeah.
Jeanette Lee, dude.
Yeah,
Now we're cooking with gas. Look up Jeanette Lee.
I hate
Blow your
to
mind.
burst your bubble, Kurt, but I think Kristen Kish likes to kish something else. You know?
She's married to a chick, so I wouldn't have any chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be weird if like the only girls you liked were actually lesbians.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Like, man,
Who am I looking up?
Lee, what's her?
Jeanette Lee.
Jeanette Lee,
Yeah.
yeah.
She's the Black Widow.
Yeah, you can look up the Black Widow. And it'll probably
Yeah, dude. Apparently, she actually is going through some.
Lee. That's who it is.
Yeah, Jeanette Lee.
No, if I was gonna get a hall pass for a dude, Lee Pace.
Okay.
That's his name.
okay.
He played the bad guy in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, he played the blue guy.
Yeah, he played
yeah,
the
So
blue
I'm
guy.
looking him up. Okay.
He's
All right.
tall. He's
Okay.
handsome.
He looks English.
Oh man,
He's blue.
He's American though. Okay.
easy on the eyes.
I mean, like honestly, it's Brad Pitt. If I got a hall pass for a guy, I'm like, let's go straight to the top. Or George, or like who's the guy that plays the new James Bond?
Lee Pace is gay though.
Daniel Craig.
Hey, there you go. Up in the odds. Daniel Craig. Yeah, he would be kind of interesting.
Speaking of which, I don't know if you guys
The Black
watch.
Widow. What do you think, man?
She's hot.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
Why did
she's
you
going-
pull up an article instead of a video of her playing pool?
Yeah, she actually. I think she's
Just
going
kidding,
through
I'm
some
just
like cancer treatments or something right now. She's got some debilitating illness.
On these same
'Cause-
lines, not cancer, but it seems like a lot of people in like the spotlight have been having some trouble with shit like that. You know, like tumors and cancer and dying on a football field and coming back to life and stuff. It's just weird.
Oh,
Something going on?
I didn't
we
hear
putting
about
on?
that for 3 days.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Who's out of it?
Are we
Um,
putting on like a tinfoil hat?
No, I was
Are
actually
we-
going to go somewhere totally different, but then I realized that segueing when you said cancer probably wouldn't have made much sense, so I played it out to now, which is, do you guys believe in the crazy hot scale?
Oh yeah, of course. That
Yeah.
can be applied to many different things
Yeah.
too.
The hotter the girl, the crazier she is.
Or the guy.
Or the guy, yeah.
But that can also be applied to a lot of different models. Like
like molecules. The hotter they are, the crazier they get.
No, I'm talking about like ice cream.
Very
you know,
true.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for a salmon flavored ice cream with sprinkles on top. That's crazy.
Yeah,
it's
but
hot. It's hot and crazy. Now
it's not really hot.
Now
it's
you
cold.
got some ugly, vanilla in a one of those yellow bread cones. Yeah, it's delicious and it's very humble. And
do you believe in it too, Kurt?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
All that being said, though, with who was it we were just saying that? Anyway, I'm trying to segue into maybe it's all a simulation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well done. First of all, if it's a simulation, there's a fucking bug in there somewhere. With that,
there are multiple bugs.
Yeah, with that segue, we got to patch that in the next hotfix. That was also a joke. Like, apparently, we need to patch that one too.
Yeah,
maybe Kurt can fix this with the editing.
Unfortunately,
wait? Hold on. Did you just say Yetiting? Because the Yeti lives in the simulation, right?
So seriously though, we did a great transition.
Making bad jokes.
I haven't had time to dig down and look into what a synopsis of simulation theory would be. What would you say that it is?
Its simulation hypothesis is currently the current modern take on it that is so popular is a take that was brought up by a philosopher, Neil. I don't want to mispronounce his last name. Bostrom.
Okay.
He's a philosopher at Oxford, and he proposed a trilemma. There's these three statements, and one of these statements needs to be true.
Okay.
And I'm getting this direct quote from his paper that he wrote. Mm-hmm. So, the fraction of human-level civilizations that reach a post-human stage, that is, one capable of running high-fidelity ancestor simulations, is very close to zero.
Okay.
That's the first one.
Okay.
Now, either this is true, or the fraction of post-human civilizations that are interested in running simulations of their evolutionary history or variations thereof is very close to zero. So the first two stipulations are either people have never reached this level, or they don't want to do this.
Yeah. Okay. 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 See that.
The third stipulation is that if neither one of those are true, then the fraction of all people with our kind of experiences that are living in a simulation are very close to 1.
Okay.
So there's either they've never reached simulations, or there's a distinct possibility
that we're the first people to get here.
Either we're the first people to get here, or we're already living in a simulation.
Okay. See, that's profound.
So
that's like that. See, that shit, like the way you just put that really makes you think.
Now, when I think of simulations, I'm thinking like Plane Flyer 3000.
What's that?
I don't know.
Yeah, like Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah, I didn't want to
right?
say it because they're not a sponsor.
Oh shit! I broke my own rule.
Like Bill Gates is listening.
What about
to this
a simulation?
podcast.
Why not think of simulations like current MMORPGs?
Well, sure.
I mean,
but when I see these types of simulations, like we've all seen that shit.
They have shitty graphics.
Shitty graphics, the Matrix, whatever. Because of that, based on your theory, why do I have to deal with shit like taxes and traffic?
It's part of the simulation. It keeps it realistic.
But how is it so that detailed?
I think that honestly, if I were to answer that, think about quantum computing. Right, we're on the verge of that kind of. I mean, it's still.
I don't think anyone that even is involved in quantum computing even knows what quantum computing even is.
Oh, they do. Google owns a quantum computer. Yeah. And so basically, when quantum computing arrives at a consumer level, which it's not, it's still like when computers were first invented, they took up a fucking warehouse. That's what quantum computing is right now. It takes a lot of room to make those. But if you can get access, like consumers get access to a quantum computer, technology as we know it is basically nothing, because it can do calculations so fast and so secure that it breaks everything in the world. So if it's that fast, in theory, we can be in a simulation that has the processing power to manage all of that at once. All of the finite details like the air quality and the traffic and the building of the cars and on an atomic level.
At a subatomic level.
Yeah.
Because we are able, inside of whatever reality we're in right now, we are able to dig down and look at things at a subatomic level. But it only gets so small.
Sure. Yeah.
So Donald, I'm just, I am totally open to all sorts of thoughts and theories and whatever, except for flat Earth, but whatever. But just to give you a little background, I grew up a religious person. My mom took me to church, and then I slowly realized and got smart that I realized that the Bible is just a bunch of bullshit, and a God or a higher power.
I mean, even if it is bullshit,
possible.
some people really use the Bible as a good tool.
Acts, sure, and it's great. It teaches people great values. Unless you want to read Acts 23,
teaches people great values. Oh, your daughter just got raped. Kill her.
Kill your daughter, kill your son,
or fuck your dad to get pregnant. Sure, yeah, or fuck your brother with Adam and Eve.
No, thank you.
Yeah, the Bible is just a weird story, but over the years, I've been thinking and putting these thoughts in my head, like, okay, well, Neil deGrasse Tyson says there's an infinite amount of galaxies where we could all be in the same room in another universe having the same conversation, but except we have heads that
Everything
are dogs.
Everywhere All at Once, the movie. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
I have not.
I was going to ask you if you saw that. He made me fucking watch it the other night.
I want to watch it, but
I couldn't get it. I did not understand
Yeah,
it.
you got.
I didn't either, Kurt. I'm with you, bro.
Good.
You got to watch it again because it's a very profound movie.
Like, I really do need to watch it, but
what you're talking about is basically the synopsis of the movie. There's these different. Every decision you make creates a new branch in the multiverse of your life, right? So,
okay. So my question is, if we're part of a simulation, what makes you think there's only one simulation?
Fair.
Why couldn't there be infinite simulations? Mm-hmm. And the mathematics prove that there are multiple dimensions beyond those that we have access to. Mm-hmm. Because we are four-dimensional creatures. We live within height, width, elevation, and time. We're basic four-dimensional creatures. Mm-hmm. Well, if there's 10 dimensions, then how can we not think that maybe we're nothing more than the plaything of something of a higher dimension?
Okay. Maybe we'll get to this eventually, but if we are, then what's the higher thing? Because I think we can all agree that, like...
do you know what a tesseract is?
Yeah.
A four-dimensional cube?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So you think about how twisted and weird-looking a four-dimensional cube would be if it was brought into our three-dimensional world.
Yeah. There's just now video games coming out in 4D that are really trippy.
Now, what if a four-dimensional creature or a five-dimensional creature came into our world? Mm-hmm. How would it look? It would look strange and mutated and unsightly, like things we've never seen before, like maybe
an alien,
maybe like angels
or an angel. Yeah,
like read accounts of what the angels actually looked like, and they looked like these weird multi-dimensional creatures.
Sure. Yeah,
I think really what made people start to think, and at least outside of the tesseract, the box, if you will, the four-dimensional square or cube, was when the movie The Matrix came out. Do you need a beer?
No.
Okay. Well, when The Matrix came out in 1999, and there was the red pill and the blue pill, and you're like, but here's the thing that's interesting about that movie. It's sci-fi, and it's a movie, and it's very well written. It was really cool because of all the special effects we've never seen before.
Sure.
But it does bring up an interesting, very interesting question, which is something like dreams and deja vu. Here's the thing where I think there's a really good argument with simulation theory, or there's something else going on, because
effect.
The Mandela effect is crazy.
We've talked about the Mandela effect too, but seriously, there. How can you explain? There are times where I'm using the example of the Matrix,
a merger of simulations.
Yeah.
The simulations are getting merged, or they're just changing over time and updating and patching.
Where you see the cat cross the road, and then 5 years later, you see the cat cross the road in the same
You just get that
street.
deja vu feeling that you're like, oh, I've been here before.
I know, but how do you explain that?
You don't. That's how you explain. You don't explain it. You just feel like you've been here before. You can't explain it, right? You can. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can't explain.
Here's another thing too.
But it could also be explained by living in a simulation, right?
Here's an experience that I had. I'm sorry. Can I just tell a real quick story?
Go ahead.
I give simulation theory and other alternatives to the traditional God, and whether you're Muslim, Jewish, Christian, whatever. My dad passed away in 2010, and I constantly dream about him. For whatever reason, I always dream about my dad. I don't dream about any other family members except for my dad. And I had a dream in probably like 2013 where my dad had an angel, or whatever, a guardian, say, everything's going to be all right, CD. Everything's going to be okay. And she comforted me and let me know that my dad was in a good place and whatever, da 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 da. And then the next day, I've never seen this woman in my entire life. And the next day, I went to the International House of or not IHOP, but the House of Pancakes or whatever, in some pancake place in Sugar House. And we sit down at our table, and the girl that I had a dream about was our server. Isn't that crazy? That's the kind of shit that makes me think, like, I've never been to this restaurant before. Mm-hmm. I've never seen this girl. I didn't go to high school with her. She's older than I am.
Does it?
You say you've never seen her, so you never walked past her before. You never had dined there at that restaurant before. You had never done anything in your life that would ever give the opportunity to cross paths with her.
I don't live in Sugar House. I don't work in Sugar House. I don't hang out in Sugar House. But for whatever reason, we had that job that day, and the night before, this girl was in my dreams, and then now she's serving me pancakes. So that really makes me kind of wonder. Does that strike a chord? Or
so that's assuming that you're special, or that we're special. That something about human life is special. Our consciousness makes us special and unique, and that's what you're aiming at. And it's all a lie, because you're not. You're just an animal that runs on these neurological signals to feed your needs like every other creature in the universe that we know about.
Sure. Sure, fair.
But and I don't necessarily think I'm special. I don't think that this was like some sign from a higher power that, like, oh, I'm the Messiah or whatever. But I think this probably happens to a lot of people, and they maybe ignore it, or they just sweep it underneath the rug. But there's another occurrence that I feel that it's very significant to bring up, which is synchronicity. I'll give you an example of that. I used to work at Dan's grocery store, and I worked in the produce department. And it was around Thanksgiving time, which the most popular thing in the grocery store at Thanksgiving is cranberries. And I had a lady come up to me and say, "Sir, where are the cranberries?" And at that very moment, did you have to let it linger? Did you have to? Did you have to? Did you have to let it linger? And for the listener who doesn't know, that is a Cranberry song. And this lady was like 85 years old. She doesn't know who the Cranberries are.
In a simulation, though, I would argue there could also still be coincidences.
And also,
sure, yeah, I get that.
So my question is that if we are special, if for some reason human consciousness is a special thing,
yeah,
and we're players in this game and we just don't realize it, there is no reason why you and you and you three guys in here cannot all see something completely different from one another.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta do that anyway.
I mean, all it would take is, I don't know, a couple hits of acid.
Fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And your reality is different.
Yeah.
So what's to say that if we are running in a simulation and we're all unique, why can't we have our own special unique soundtracks playing as our player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, Donald, do you feel like psychedelics are a pathway to seeing the outside of the simulation?
No.
Okay, so that's interesting because I think it might. So there's a scientist. His name is Lex Friedman. He does a lot of the work, the AI work for Tesla. He works for Elon Musk, or has done work for Elon Musk. He went to MIT. Very brilliant man. Has an excellent podcast. And he had the chance to interview Elon Musk, and he said, if you had the opportunity to talk to AI and answer one question, what would it be? And he said, what happens outside of the simulation? And Elon Musk sits there for like 10 or 15 moments of silence on a podcast, which is...
Yeah. That's fine.
I hate silence on the podcast.
Yeah, you do. We know.
He says, I would ask her... He referred to, the higher power as her. And I know, I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
I would ask...
Good political statement on his behalf. I mean, come on.
It's not political. But.
Well, I mean, like, politically correct statement on his behalf.
Yeah, I don't think Elon Musk is worried about being politically correct.
Oh, I think that he plays his cards right every chance he fucking gets. He
banned fucking Kanye West off of Twitter.
Yeah.
So he's not...
Oh, well, let's speak of people who have all the cards but never play them right. Kanye West. He said a lot of crazy shit.
For sure. So...
Yeah, World War II was still bad.
So is the simulation, is it like the Truman Show? Or is it a computer game? Like... I play Grand Theft Auto, and
So the simulation theory or simulation hypothesis has been around for a very long time, and in the ancient times they were like, is life like a painting? Is life just like a painting? Because paintings were the latest technology. As we get into the computer age and computers are the latest technology, we try to look at things that are greater than us with that technology and look at it as, if this is a simulation, the only thing that is big enough to run the simulation is the universe itself. Mm-hmm. Allegedly. But there's still no reason that the whole universe couldn't be a simulation.
You know what? You brought something up earlier that I thought was interesting, that made me think, and that's that you said, as humans, we can look at things on a subatomic level, right? We can only get so small. Yeah. But then at the same time, we also know that the universe is always expanding.
And there's actual...
So there's parts of the simulation that haven't been created yet.
And there's theories that there's a black hole in the middle of every galaxy, and that's what creates the galaxy that makes the stars spin around and rotate and whatever. And inside those black holes are more... infinite amounts of universes.
This just brought back a memory from a movie. I don't know which movie. Maybe if I...
Interstellar.
I don't know. But I remember a montage where it like zooms out of planet Earth and all the way back to see the entire universe, and then it goes, and then the universe turns into like a single skin cell, and then keeps zooming out, and it's somebody's arm, and they're walking around, and it's like, maybe your body is the simulation.
And does consciousness transfer to another?
I'll tell you what, I've seen those documentaries of like a not newborn, but like an 8-year-old kid that's like, I swear this person was killed and their body's here. And they're like, okay, then show me. And the 8-year-old can take them right to it, and they dig, and they're like, oh shit.
Yeah, there's actually...
Maybe that's a setup. Maybe that's for TV. Maybe that's because they did have another life. There's another maybe they caught an extra life, in the simulation.
And I
think that's what makes this theory in particular so hard to prove or disprove, is that maybe any theory, there's just so much white noise in between. You know what I mean? There's people, you just get like people that make things up because they want to be noticed.
And if it is a simulation, then how would we refer to those creatures that are above us that are creating this simulation? Yeah. Are they not God? Mm-hmm. I mean, we had a conversation earlier, and you discussed how you were a software developer.
Yeah.
Now, when you're developing software, are you not God?
No, I'm not. And I don't feel like I'm God.
But you kind of are.
There's rules that you have to follow.
I'm creating something from nothing, pretty much, but it still exists as nothing, if we break down a computer enough, it's ones and zeros,
binary
which is
code.
Exactly what's going on in our brain, right?
Exactly what they're finding as they're reaching the quantum mechanic levels, and in the math for the quantum mechanics is binary code inside the equations.
Yeah, which is crazy.
There's a lot of documented, and I'm not talking about a lot, I'm talking about like thousands of accounts of stories of reincarnation. There's a book that I read called Old Souls by Tom Schroeder. I think Tom Schroeder or Tom Schrader. I think it's Tom Schroeder. Anyway, Old Souls, where there's accounts of children that are, and it's only children that when they are young, they have recollections of a previous life, and there's thousands and thousands and thousands of accounts of like, oh yeah, and they go back and they research like, oh yes, I lived in this village in Kenya, and I got ate by a jaguar, and people, they will go research and see that, oh my gosh, there was a Matumbo that fucking got eaten by a jaguar in Kenya.
But then that can also be broken down.
So that's like, it's just part of the religion.
Sure.
You recycle, you rebirth, and you don't, in Buddhism, you're not always born or reborn on the same plane of existence. And they say there are multiple planes of existence. Yeah. So if this is a simulation, was Buddhism finding, inner peace and finding that onefulness? Is that the way to get out of the simulation?
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair argument.
I know, but what if here's
also, let me be really logic with that, what you brought up, and just, this is totally the computer programmer in me logic. How many people have lived on the earth since there were humans? How many people?
That's a very interesting question, and the answer is 50 billion.
So you bring up statistics, right?
50 billion.
It's highly probable in statistics that a child can say, I lived in a village in Kenya and got eaten by a lion, and that there's one in the 50 billion.
It's a jaguar, not a lion.
Oh, it's a jaguar. I'm sure one of them got eaten by a lion too. 50 billion people. It's possible that also too is a coincidence.
To all of you podcast fans out there, there's a brilliant podcast called Radiolab, and they ask that same question.
Yeah.
How many people have ever lived in the existence of
We have
the
more
Earth?
people alive now than ever before.
8 billion now.
It's crazy.
We've hit 8 billion, but they actually went back and did some real logical deduction, and we're able to come up with, and if I remember correctly, and if you guys want to listen to the podcast, it's on Radiolab, and it's extremely interesting. And actually, Radiolab is a very good podcast. If you guys like to listen to podcasts, you got to listen to Radiolab. But I'm pretty sure it's 50 billion. 50 billion people have lived on the planet since existence, and that's the modern human. The Homo sapien, Homo erectus, the Merovingian, Cro-Magnon
You got
man.
him all fired up, man.
Yeah.
Look at he's getting in.
Hey, wait, which one was it that started eating the mushrooms and the poop?
So that's the stoned ape theory, and that's interesting to bring that up too, because that kind of brings you into back what kind of ties you into like being able to see into the simulation. I feel like when you are on those psychedelics, you do mushrooms or acid or DMT, dimethyltryptamine,
We know DMT.
5-amino DIPT, any of those psychedelic substances, I feel like you see these, you have these, hallucinations or these visions. But the crazy thing is,
what if they're not?
Is everyone has the same one? They all see fractals. They all see like caveman figures and animals.
Because what if taking that same thing affects the way that your body functions as a piece of code in a simulation? You add this into the mix, and then it alters it same way it does for everybody else.
So do you see?
So maybe you don't see any deeper into anything. So you're just affecting what you normally see.
So you're telling me that imprinted in our human brain, when you take a psychedelic substance that every person in the whole world is going to see a snake or a jaguar or a lion or
if you
a bear?
No.
Set and setting. There's a reason why any old stoner will tell you, set and setting, man. If you're going to dose, always remember, have your mind set correct and know the setting you're in. So it's you change the set and setting, and you change the experience that someone has on those different drugs. It's the same with mental illness. Somebody with schizophrenia in the U.S. is going to sit and have these horrific, nightmarish hallucinations and have voices that tell them horrible things about themselves and horrible, bad voices that tell them to do bad things. But when you go to other countries and you find people that are schizophrenic in those other countries, they don't have bad hallucinations. It's just a voice that talks to them and helps them get through the day. And it's, completely different because the set and setting is different.
So do you feel like there's outside influences? I feel like there's a lot of that here in the States. We have Facebook and TikTok and Instagram and the need to be pretty and have to put on makeup and have to be the best and want to make the best money and have a good job. And if you live in Europe or you live in, the Middle East, you have all these strong family values and you want to be... But and
someone from the Middle East with that strong family value and that strong family history is going to have a different hallucination or a different trip on any kind of psychedelic than someone that is from a well-educated situation like we are.
So, Donald, are you familiar with Michael Pollan? Pollan, Michael Pollan. He wrote a book. He's a famous. He usually writes about food, but his not this most recent book, but his second to last book was called How to Change Your Mind, and now they've made it into a Netflix special, and he explores food but using hallucinogenics as food, and he's traveled the world and he's shown that there are people that have the same experiences, whether you're in Australia or you're in England, you're in America, you're in South America. These people are all sharing similar experiences with these,
And the chemical reaction inside your brain is going to be similar.
Yeah.
On every brain. So the chemical, they're going to be similar. There's going to be similar things to them. Tracers or fractals or
geometric
fluid,
patterns,
or fluid. Like a lot of hallucinations are like things become fluid. Walls are dripping and melting and things like that. But so if the input to your brain, if the chemicals in your brain are firing and saying, okay, your perception is changing all of this, but your set and setting is what's going to give it a good experience of, that's cool. I like that wall, man. That wall's mellow. Yeah, let's touch it. Or your set and setting can make that
really horrific,
a really bad time.
Yeah, I don't disagree that a psychedelic experience can be traumatic.
So think about it
I
this way.
think that's something that you are dealing with inside your own psyche.
Yeah, so our brains, like what's inside your head is the same that's in my head. Maybe different amounts of certain things, different vitamins, different food that I ate, is all coursing through my body. But it's still the same thing. Your brain still works like mine. It still has synapses and they make connections and they do things like that. So when you take acid, you maybe help your brain make different connections there, but we're still just all having the same brain.
Here's the thing that I'm curious about, which goes back to the simulation theory, is why are all animals, humans, cats, dogs, whatever, all afraid of snakes? And that goes back to, I'm not trying to be biblical because I'm definitely not religious, but the Garden of Eden, and there's the snake that comes into the garden and whatever.
It's because they can't show them.
Because here's the thing, when an animal dies,
man came from Africa, and in Africa, snakes are fucking deadly.
Yeah.
Not don't fuck with me, I will make your life miserable deadly. No. They are just fuck fucking deadly.
I know. So can you genetically inherit the fear of snakes?
Why not?
100%. That's literally how
Evolution.
works. Yeah. And when we had T on the show,
No rope.
we had a previous person named T, Tanisha. She's a geneticist, and she's specifically studying genetics, and which in the way that I was able to understand it in my mind is it's basically human code, because the genetics, like mRNA, the
But
vaccination,
it's not just humans.
No, it's not, because everything has
Like
genetics, right?
when
So
I take Roscoe
we
for a
inherit
hike,
things
So-
from our past that it's called, like Joe Rogan put it, leftover monkey shit.
when I take Roscoe for a hike, he's gonna want to chase a cat and kill a cat or a squirrel or a bird for the life of him. But if he sees a snake, he's gonna step back.
Yeah. Yep. Or if he sees a bear, he's gonna.
So it's not just humans. That's interesting, because that going back into the whole like simulation, like there's something almost programmed into our
genetics. Yeah.
all living
Yeah.
things.
And when you think about evolution, you're right, and that's, I think, like genetic mutations explain that quite a bit, because that's nature as we know it, or maybe we can call nature the simulation. I don't know. But nature as we know it, it comes up with these mutations to see if it works. And generally, if it's a bad mutation, that part of the species dies off and the good ones continue on. And so it's just like how humans, the biggest genetic experiment in human history is breeding dogs. You know, like we breed dogs to do whatever job we need them to. Chase a cat, find a truffle.
That's a pig.
Well, they don't use pigs anymore. They use dogs because pigs are
really?
too expensive. Yeah, sell them more for pork.
But when you think about it, like dogs, like a chihuahua or a poodle, all came from wolves.
Yeah, they did. And if we
Pigs
vanished,
try to eat them. That's
pigs try to eat them. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not that they're cheaper. That was a bacon joke. But yeah, the pigs were eating them, and the dogs are like, it's here. You know, same thing with like. But that's the stuff that we've created in dogs. Humans have created in dogs. But if we disappeared, what's going to happen? It's going to degenerate back into wolves.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we're like going way over break. Do you want to do a salt flats out? Or do you want
Let's
to
just
take
do
a break?
it. Yeah, let's. Hey, listeners, we want you guys. These Salt Flats has been supporting this podcast and this community for a very long time, and we hope you guys support them as well. Salt Flats has anything for anybody. I mean, we're talking about craft cocktails, beers, anything you want. You like Hefeweizen, you want a raspberry sour, you want a Belgian wit, you want an IPA, a double IPA, a Scottish beer, you want a lager, a Mexican beer. Salt Flats has it all, and guess what? They're available now in more places than ever, from Timbuktu to Idaho. Just kidding. But we encourage you guys to go check them out. They're at the liquor store, and their brewery's located at 2020 West Industrial Circle.
We also got some good information too. Is that the Land Speed 6-packs are now available in Mavericks and Salt Lake and Utah County, and Davis, Weber, and Cache counties now have the Rally Packs, which is a way for you to try a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and also if you're not in the mood for a beer or a cocktail, get some hooch, man. That's what I'm all about. I'm about ready to sip on some vodka, and they have everything from gin, vodka, rum, whiskey, and also if you are looking for something at a good price point, they have the new Well, It's Vodka. Isn't that a funny pun on words? Well, it's Well vodka, and it's really
it's a good price point.
Yeah,
if you,
it's very inexpensive. You can go get a bottle. They have it at my liquor store for $10.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Which is great.
Yeah,
it's totally great. It's good. You make it. You put it in your Bloody Mary, or put it in. What's the other vodka drink? Bloody Mary.
Vodka cranberry.
Vodka cranberry.
Cape Cod.
Cape Cod. Yeah. So anyway, we hope you guys support them, because they've been supporting this podcast.
We got a funny story about a Cape Cod that I'll tell you after.
I like Cape Cods. Now we're talking.
Ooh, we got that radio voice going on there.
Are we going to run all the way through?
Yeah, this might as well. I mean, we've already
No,
gone.
I'm out of water.
Yeah, do you want to take a quick break? We can.
I need to know where the... Yeah.
Yeah, let's take a quick break.
Okay, sounds good. Oh, dang, I just got stung by that lightning bolt.
He didn't even make it a second.
That was a second.
It was
Oh, shush your
3/4 of a second.
Shush your moosh. We're good. Donald, it's been really interesting talking with you about all this stuff, and I really, for me personally, I enjoy, I don't know if I want to put all my eggs in a certain basket and believe in ghosts or simulations or whatever, synchronicity, but it is interesting, and I can really appreciate that you are open talking about like the psychedelic stuff, Do you have any feeling about like what we can do with legislation on that?
I do like the national movement towards legalizing psilocybin.
Mm-hmm.
I think that bringing that back into the public realm or allowing the public to have that would be a great movement, because there's so much that can be done with microdosing and just, psilocybin causes neurogenesis. It creates brain cells. It helps your body do something that it doesn't naturally do.
To the layman, can you explain what that word means? The neurogenesis?
Neurogenesis. It's birthing
New
of
beginning.
brain cells.
Well, neurogenesis in Greek or whatever is new beginning, I believe, right?
I don't know.
He's not an English teacher, dude.
Neogenesis or neurogenesis, like brain.
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 Yeah, and then Genesis would be the creation of
beginning, brain birth.
Yeah,
Okay,
creation
yeah.
of something new.
I need to get my dictionary out apparently.
Neuro, yeah. So, and there's use for that in so much of society. There's so many people that live with brain injuries that could be helped by the use of just non-psychedelic dosage of mushrooms.
Yeah, because you can take mushrooms, psilocybin, but you don't have to trip out. Like I think it's a misconception that they're like, oh, you took mushrooms, so you're probably tripping balls. That's not the case. You can take a microdose like you're talking and function completely normal, and then for some people better than you normally do.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I think there's a stigma, and I've spoken with and I've known people that are sober McGobers, what I call them sober McGobers. They're sober people. They don't want to deal with any kind of intoxicants or mind-altering substances. However, I don't think they know what the benefits of something like psilocybin or ketamine therapy can do for people.
But
Stop that. Don't ever do that again. Yeah. Just a purring kitten over there.
just because I believe that something should be allowed does not mean that it should be required.
Or uncontrolled necessarily.
Or uncontrolled. Yeah. You know, there's no reason why a neurologist shouldn't be the one prescribing these medications. But treat it like a medication and, you know,
there are people out there.
Not a criminal substance.
Yeah. I think there are a lot, and I mean a lot, millions of people. I think right now, Kurt, I don't know if you want to look this up or not, but I think the number one killer of people that are 18 to 45 right now in the world, maybe America, but at least in America, but maybe the world, people that are born 18 to 45, the number one killer is fentanyl overdoses. Yeah. And not so, yes, I don't want to condone drug use or, you know, whatever. And I've taken...
It's not.
It's not fentanyl. And that's probably true for the United States. I'd believe that.
But
no. What is it? What is it that's killing kids, man?
Accidents.
18 to 45 killers and accidents.
Well, like you just said
kind of
accident, like vehicle accidents, car accidents.
I'm about ready to have an accident after that response. I'm about ready to poop my pants.
Because an accident can be accidentally buying a drug that's cut with fentanyl.
Exactly.
Whoops.
Actually,
sorry.
No, but
maybe I was wrong on that.
Yeah, you're definitely wrong.
Okay, fucking
wrong.
Google. Yeah, get the fuck out of here with that shit.
I don't mean to be a know-it-all. All I'm saying is I'm not trying to condone.
I'm not trying to know it all, but you're wrong, man.
No, I'm not. No, what I'm trying to say is I'm not trying to condone drug use, but I think...
Well, it says here that fentanyl is the leading cause of death for adults in the U.S.
Yes.
But it doesn't specifically state that age range,
Not
18
in
to
Russia.
45.
Okay. All that being said,
Adults in the U.S.
Yeah.
Look out for fentanyl.
could be
Those were all
fentanyl's-
adults in the U.S.
Yeah, and that's very dangerous. But all I'm saying, I'm not trying to, condone drug use.
No.
But I do think there are things.
I think
Yeah, sure. I think there are things that are beneficial with
Here it is, right
ketamine
here.
and psilocybin therapy.
According to preliminary 2021 data, accidents were the leading cause of death among 18 to 45-year-olds with accidental synthetic opioid overdoses, amounting to less than half of those deaths.
Oh, okay. So it seems like the human race is a little accident prone.
Yeah.
Have you
And-
ever slipped down like some stairs before? Happens,
Yeah.
You ever
Sometimes you don't get back up.
Sometimes you don't.
I know, but I think we really need to talk to and let it be known to the public that things like cannabis and psilocybin are not drugs.
Be responsible though.
It's therapy, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah. If you
Yeah.
take a handful of mushrooms, you can think that you're Peter Pan and fucking
Sure.
all your whole all of your outfits in your closet are green. I don't know.
What kind of mushrooms are you eating?
Too many of them.
penis envy. That's actually a real
there
kind
was
of
a recent
mushroom, by the
thing
way.
that
It is a real kind of mushroom.
Yeah.
Lion's mane.
Lion's
Yep.
mane. Yeah.
I came across a true story on Reddit that was like I didn't believe it, but it was like, what's the question that was asked on Reddit was, what's the saddest thing that you've seen on Reddit, or the worst thing? And it was a guy who was like, oh, I've been doing my daily routine for my entire life, but I know I walk through this courtyard where I can buy drugs, and so one day I just kind of was like, oh, if I sit here for a minute, maybe I can get. He wanted to do mushrooms, but the guy didn't have it. He said, but I have cocaine or heroin, and he's like, well, then I'll just take the heroin. Because he's like, never done anything like this in my life. I just wanted to try it.
Start with
And he went
heroin.
and he went on the Reddit, Ask Me Anything. He's like, I'm not addicted to it. I just tried it once. Ask me any questions you want. His account proceeds to go down to him dying 3 times and being in a psych ward, and now currently heading to rehab. And this was over the course of the last 3 years, but you can follow his comment and his AMAs and stuff. And he's like, I've been keeping it secret for the last 2 things. It's like, don't. I understand that we talk about like microdosing mushrooms, but not all drugs are created equal.
Yeah.
No.
And
There's
also-
a holy trinity.
I-
My father was a druggie, and he told me when I was young, he's like, there's a holy trinity of drugs, and these drugs will control you. You will not control them.
Mm-hmm.
They are cocaine, amphetamines, and heroin.
Yeah.
or pills.
If it's related to any of those 3, you're done.
Yeah.
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 And I don't think that I'm not trying to, what's the word I'm looking for, prescribe or, acknowledge or think that it's good for anyone to do drugs. But I do think that there are responsible ways, and not that I do any of them, but there are responsible ways to do that too. And a good example is Dr. Carl Hart from Columbia University, who does responsibly use heroin and cocaine, and he does it to do it in a scientific process. I'm not condoning you do heroin or cocaine.
I mean, there's been a lot of great scientists in history that have been like, I swear, I'm just doing heroin because I'm trying to figure it out. Man.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a guy on YouTube that does the same thing. He says, we do this so you don't have to, and he goes through all of the process and videoing how he feels, and he tests it to make sure of its purity and things like that. And at the end of the day, he likes to make money off of taking drugs, I think.
Yeah,
But
and I don't
it's
think
entertaining
I
to
don't think
watch.
anyone should do heroin or cocaine or whatever. But
I mean,
think,
do whatever you want. Just be warned that there are consequences to your fucking actions.
I think if you
that
can-
are going to be outside of your control.
I think if you can do them responsibly, which again, I'm not saying that any of us do that. I don't condone it, whatever. But if you can do it responsibly in a educated or as far as like some sort of research.
I'm just going to go out on the limb and say, just don't do drugs.
Yeah, you're right. Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs. If they are prescribed as a medicine, I think, like we were talking earlier, I think that's great. If they're like, you have this prescription, take this pill every day, it'll help you, and it does, great.
But there is a good argument to to say that, if drugs were legal, then there would be a lot less crime.
Question. Psilocybin.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say we were to legalize psilocybin tomorrow.
I think I know what you're going to ask, but continue.
Now, does this fall under the FDA because it's a new drug, or does the FDA not have a word in it because it's a new supplement?
I don't think.
Good question.
Yeah, I don't know.
think
because the FDA.
I think it falls under the FDA because
I take supplements that aren't.
Yeah, but I mean, are your supplements like going to make you fucking trip balls and then
but they're
drive your car into a school bus?
No, but they're not approved by the FDA, and they make me feel good and also improve my brain function.
Sure. But I mean, I think the potential for adverse effects of psilocybin and people consuming too much would make it controlled by the FDA. I think so. I think that's the way the country would go. But
dun dun dun.
I don't know. I honestly do, because and think of smoking weed or marijuana.
No, it makes absolute sense.
That's even less of a thing. I don't mind if you smoke a bunch of weed and you drive. The worst you're gonna do is be like, I just got to make sure I'm really aware and I'm driving a little bit slower than normal. I know, and you're good. But if you're tripping,
you can't be driving and be super stoned.
That's technically a DUI.
Yeah,
right. Or DWI.
And like, do you realize how many mushrooms you have to? Do you realize how many mushrooms you have to eat in order to reach a state of tripping?
Yeah, that's true.
You're talking grams.
I would prefer them to be. I'd prefer everything to kind of be. I think Amsterdam, in a lot of ways, got a lot of it right, because by allowing everything, you kind of made the people who chose the wrong things alienated, right? So, like the meth head and the heroin user in Amsterdam, it's like, why are you doing that? You can go to a coffee shop and smoke weed and go take mushrooms, and you have a great next day.
Well, Wade, I think I think the good example of that is Portugal. They decriminalized all the drugs.
Oh, okay.
And if you are hooked on meth, if you are hooked on
they'll
coke,
help you.
If you are hooked on, they will give you the drugs, but they give you a safe environment to take the drugs, and they will make sure that you are not there in a bathtub going and dying.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah. Stealing someone's car.
The shitty reality we live with, though, is that there's always going to be irresponsible people.
So is this reality?
I don't know.
Ooh, we're going full circle now. Is this all?
This sucks, but does it suck any worse than, say, the life of a simulation that we create?
No, I mean, you saw how the Metaverse went. That's fucking bombing.
Did you say Metaverse?
Yeah, Metaverse.
What about like Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah. That's what I was just about to say. Grand Theft Auto.
Horrible physics.
What if I'm the guy that's driving the Gran Torino, changing the radio stations?
Shit! Here we go again.
Honestly,
no, I mean, I think if we are, I still will live by the fact that I'm here now, and so let me just take advantage of what I can, and great. Live in the moment, or simulate in the moment.
Yeah, I think no matter all the things that we've talked about and discussed in the last hour, you just need to be responsible and educate yourself. You can't be some simple-minded person that's gonna be like, oh, you're on mushrooms, you're high as fuck, and all you can see is My Little Pony jumping across your TV screen. No, it's not like that. The thing about doing psychedelics is you feel the biggest thing aside from hallucinations or whatever is introspection, and that's why it's so important, and that's why it's a big deal in some of these these countries like Peru, where they do ayahuasca treatments, and there's shamans that will, and not only with ayahuasca but with psilocybin as well. There's these people, these shamans that will.
You can tell he's very passionate about
guide you through.
Right? It's a good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's therapy. Like
some people think getting their half gallon of Diet Coke in the morning is therapy too. Should that be okay all the time?
Yeah. Thank you for shouting out John Daly, but I don't want to say any names, but I have a friend.
Did we maybe just find out that everything in moderation can be a good thing sometimes?
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, except for maybe corn syrup, but yeah.
Well, if you moderate corn syrup appropriately, then it's unfortunately as consumers we don't have the ability to do that.
Yeah, if you want
based on what products you buy.
Yeah, if you want your asshole to shit out a fucking yellow log, sure. But I think
CD in the corner eating raw corn syrup. Just
corn
His
syrup.
hands are dipped in cold water. Just just the corn syrup.
No, I think within
Like
moderation.
Pooh Bear.
Yeah, just
Yeah, my dad's name is Christopher and his middle name is Robin. But sorry, bad joke. No, but within moderation, I think that some of these things can be used as tools, and it just I guess the reason why I'm passionate and obviously you guys can see in the studio, and hopefully our listeners can hear the passion that I have about this, is that these things can be used as tools. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Donald? Like these are tools to help us like grow and become better humans.
No, I don't know what you mean. Please explain.
Hey. Oh my God. Someone change my diaper, please. I'm about to have a yellow corn
Donald's
syrup
being
log
very
come
serious right now with CD, who's doing it. You're doing a great. Yes, they can. I mean, any substance that we've found so far has some sort of use. Doesn't mean that I want to like live in the plutonium mines for a while. You know, just soak up that radon. Woo.
Oh my God!
Love
Don't
it,
get me
man.
on plutonium, bro.
There is
Don't get me on fucking conflict minerals.
a mine that has opened as a radon therapy mine where they put couches in there and tables and decks of cards, so you can go down there and do radon therapy.
What?
It's basically just sitting in an irradiated space while you're doing things, but it's not high enough to be to cause death or sickness afterwards. You're just down there, and people believe that being around radiations in small doses is healthy.
What are they trying to turn into Hulk?
No, this happened. There was a drink that was called
Hulk?
There was water that was irradiated water, and it was used to treat like colds, or if you felt weird or whatever, you drink this irradiated water, and it was supposed to help. We now know that that's probably not the greatest thing to be doing, but
I have no idea what you're talking about.
you have never heard of this?
I have never heard of this before.
Look up radon therapy. It's a
Dude,
true
so there were back in the day, in the early 20th century, like 1912 to 1918, there was a lot of, and it's mostly females, that were hired to make timepieces, like clocks, watches.
And they ended up all getting tongue cancer.
Yes, that
because
was right.
they would lick their
so they were
lick their
painting.
fingers
So
for the radium.
they were
paint.
because it glowed in the dark. They were doing radium paint on the clock watches, and because they had to use such fine paintbrushes, they were licking the tips.
Yeah, they were irradiated.
And then they were irradiated like Marie Curie, and then they end up dying with losing all their teeth
So
and
radon-
looking like your grandma.
A radioactive, colorless, odorless, tasteless, noble gas has been studied by a number of scientific and medical bodies on its effects of health. It's a naturally occurring gas, which I think we've all heard in your house. You need to be super careful about radon because it doesn't smell like anything, so you die.
Yeah, you have a radon detector in your basement.
Yeah, or when you buy a house, they'll do a radon test, and things like that.
My
But there's
apartment
people
complex, I need a radium detector, please, as soon as possible.
There's probably something that they do on a yearly basis to check that, I imagine.
My dog barks when the door is being knocked
but I
on.
mean,
That's
like-
the only detector I have.
Well, you don't have to be in your apartment to test for radon because radiation usually doesn't care about passing through things that often.
That's why it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Because as it passes through you, it can knock things loose.
It can definitely do bad things. But
Including
there's
your teeth.
Did you I basically looked it up quick, but there's a mine where they're like, you can go and sit in here and like play some poker with your buddies for a couple hours. It's great. Like, and people swear that their knee pain goes away because they've been doing radon therapy. I don't know if I believe that.
I want to see a 20-year lifespan on these people afterwards. Like, how many of these people are dying of cancer at 60?
Sure. That's the thing about radiation is
what about
very
people that are dying
chaotic.
from cancer when they're 40, though?
So did you... Oh, man, you just made me think of something else. Speaking of cancer, so you know Smokin' Ed, the guy who created the Carolina Reaper? He breeds the hottest peppers in the world.
No, but yeah.
The reason why he does that is because he believes that some part of capsaicin, if he generates a hot enough pepper, that they'll be able to find some way that it will cause cancer, or at least kill cancer. So he's like, I just keep getting a hotter and hotter pepper because I truly believe the science behind that, the capsaicin in a certain amount is really going to have an effect.
So he's the Michael Jackson of the pepper world.
Maybe, but he's fucking famous. I mean, you had a ghost pepper before.
No,
Yeah,
I've
you
had
have.
I've had a habanero.
No, you've had a ghost pipe. We did the one chip challenge. We had the bomb.
Oh, dude.
You've had it.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway,
that was
what that
rough.
whole path I went down is that, yes, well, you're right. These drugs that we've socially classified as drugs in moderation can be used as some tools, and I agree with that 100%. There's also like a use for kind of everything, like radiation. Radiation is a byproduct of other things, which I don't think we've really found a good use for radiation. Oh, wait, every time you get an X-ray. Weird.
Nuclear power?
Nuclear power is good, yeah. But a lot of nuclear power is bad. Chernobyl happened, so like moderation.
No, that's a common. Wait, fuck you, dude. That's a common misconception. Nuclear power is very safe.
It's very safe. But
people always think about Chernobyl and Kunaka or whatever in Japan. Nuclear power is the future. I don't think people realize how good nuclear power, how effective it is.
Yeah.
Fission, nuclear fission.
No, like what's the or fusion?
Fusion. Yeah.
Fusion. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Nuclear fission. Yeah, you're talking too much. Butchering Japanese.
They're doing
names.
fission too.
Yeah, they are. It's just you can't get enough.
We've been doing fission for a while.
No, they just
fusion, and they just made a breakthrough on.
I'm gonna start calling.
fusion.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start calling Donald the Saint from like
Get him
he's like
wrong.
Val Kilmer from that.
Got it wrong.
Oh shit.
Fission and fusion. I got them mixed up.
I always get them mixed up.
But nuclear
so
power
foolish.
is, I really think nuclear power is the future. And whenever people hear the word nuclear, they think of an atomic bomb or Russia
Sure.
or whatever. But no,
Yeah.
nuclear power, just because we don't have it here in Utah, doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. There's nuclear power all over Europe, in Switzerland,
Yeah. You know what
in Germany, in Finland, Norway.
You know what we do have in Utah that comes from nuclear power?
Mormons
All
farts.
of the fucking waste.
all of the waste.
All of the fucking nuclear waste is in Utah. And
on the
every,
West Desert, yeah.
Every now and then it comes up where they're like, they just signed another contract to bring in like 30 more fucking trains of depleted plutonium rods. Jesus.
Is that what Rio Tinto is? Right,
They're
basically.
an energy company, yeah. So I imagine they play a-
Rio Tinto's the company that brings in all the nuclear rods, right?
No,
Right?
Rio
I don't
Tinto's
know.
the mining company.
Oh, I thought they were energy based. I'll double check.
Rio Tinto, I thought was the mine.
You might. Oh, they might own that now, though. Honestly, I don't know. What the fuck does Rio Tinto?
There's
do?
like
I'm typing in
there's like 800 of our listeners out there.
Now
that-
it's Rio Tinto
yeah,
Yes.
pretty sure it's Rio Tinto.
because they shut down the like observation.
It's not
point.
Kennecott anymore, bruh. It's pretty sure it's Rio Tinto, and they are.
You're
I
right.
mean,
You were right. It's a mining company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they are mining, and that brings up another thing,
But the-
which I don't think people understand. With when you want to
Energy Solutions. Those,
Yeah.
That's who the nuclear company is
Yeah.
because they're the ones who, for a little while, had the arena.
Yeah. Yeah.
They still
do.
have the
They still
arena.
have it. Yeah.
yeah.
I thought it was the Vivint Arena now.
Oh, you
Oh,
might
shit,
be right.
you're right. They-
No, Rio Tinto's the soccer arena.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rio Tinto
And
is.
then-
Energy Solutions used to be. I still call it the fucking Delta Center.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's the Delta Center.
It is the Delta Center for sure. We love to fly, and it shows.
Yeah, and then I mean, if we want to get into other bad things that involve minerals and things like that,
Conflict
like,
minerals.
Dugway Proving Grounds is a whole animal of its own. We could do a whole show on.
What do
that.
you mean? What's wrong with Dugway?
Have you ever read some of the stories like they tested chemical weapons there that ended up killing like a bunch of farmers' sheep in the like tens of thousands, and then the government's like, here's a few bucks. Because they dropped a chemical weapon
Where they
and the
developed
wind.
sarin.
Yeah. And
I'm talking about when I don't think people realize what really bothers me, and I don't mean to get on a political rant, but when people want to talk about clean energy and this and that and whatever, I don't think people realize in my phone, your iPhone, your Samsung or whatever, you have or
There's a battery
your
in there.
Tesla, there's a battery in that, and guess what requires that battery to run? Cobalt. Where's cobalt? Where's lithium? Where's cobalt and lithium mined? Guess where it's mined? The Congo in Africa. And those people, there's women, children,
Yeah.
and men going into mines that they are digging kilometers and kilometers into the earth, digging for these minerals
Yeah.
to get cobalt for your fucking cell phone battery. And by the time
hey, CD, do you have a cell phone on you?
Yeah. It's
Okay,
right here.
cool. Hell yeah, man.
And by the time that you get your Tesla or your EV, your Chevrolet Volt or whatever, it's already put out 60,000 miles of pollution into the air with all the mining that it takes and the transportation it takes for that mineral to go across the Atlantic Ocean into the Indian Sea.
Sometimes it just goes like
to
this.
manufacture.
It's all right.
I didn't know that pollution was measured as a distance.
Yes, well, actually, here's a fun fact. The Indian Sea has a giant cloud in front of it. In the Indian Sea, there's a giant cloud of pollution.
Doesn't.
Yes, it does.
I've fucking been there. No, it doesn't.
There's a giant cloud over the Indian Sea because of just the way that the Earth spins. That there's same thing when you see these like plastic islands and shit. Yes,
I've been in the Indian Sea. I've done trans-Pacific, trans-Indian, sails.
sounds like
beautiful.
that sounds like my date on Saturday night. Trans Indian.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Sorry, bad joke. Sorry.
Did you at least give a reach around?
Him. Sorry, bad joke.
No, I'm asking. Did you give a reach around?
No, but all that being said, there's
Missed
a lot of
opportunity.
Asshole does that.
Donald,
Give a
I'm
reach
an
around?
asshole. I'm sorry. No, but Donald, you can't lie that there's, when people talk about pollution and what we put in the garbage and recycle all that. I don't know if people see that when you go to Cabo San Lucas or whatever, and they're just pouring out sewage into the Gulf of Mexico, and you guys want to talk about cutting your this and all this virtue signaling.
Here we fucking go. He's using all the keywords.
We have time for this shit.
How did we trigger?
What happened?
What did we trigger you with, dude? Yeah, what happened?
I'm about ready to take my glasses off and fight all three.
What triggered you though?
No. you do realize, just a little history on me. When I was 12, I helped get a toxic waste site cleaned up in the middle of downtown Salt Lake City. I
want to hear about this.
I also helped.
That's awesome.
I also helped write legislation for trees and tax credits in Utah that was put through in the late 80s. And then because of this, I was made famous and some other things, and other things happened. I ended up going to the Russia. It was great.
Wait, did you say the Russia?
Yeah, the Russia.
The one and only.
The one and only. Yeah. Actually, at the time, it was the USSR.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, I still
the
went under
Soviet
Gorbachev. I went under
Soviet era.
Gorbachev. Yep.
Damn. How would have that been?
It was crazy.
Did you was it cool over there to go have that experience?
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I have some pictures.
Did based on the pictures you've seen, did it seem like you had a good time?
Yeah.
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 So was it Leningrad or St.
It was Leningrad when I went.
Okay.
I went in 90.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just before the fall.
I always keep my USSR maps in my tote that I keep underneath my bed
Oh, I put mine
in case I ever need to go to Pawn Stars and buy a new car.
I don't know when you got so triggered, but you were really preaching there for a minute, man. I'm proud of you.
No, I just want people to know. I'm just trying to throw out education.
It's like
these days, the most accurate thing that you see on the news is the weather report. And remember back when we were fucking 5 years old, and he's like, "It's gonna snow tomorrow," and then it doesn't snow, and and then now when you watch the news, you hear about this happening and this happening and this happening. And it's like, I don't believe shit.
Yeah.
But then the weather report comes on and says it's gonna rain tomorrow at 4 o'clock, and guess what it did today? It rained at 4 o'clock. So yes, I honestly put more faith into the weather report than I do actual news. No matter what side you lean on, if you're middle, left, right, Republican, Democrat, I don't care.
You know why? Because we all are affected by the weather no matter what, right? We can't get out of it. So it's always in everybody's benefit to know that there's a huge storm coming that you need to prepare for. If there's an invisible pollution cloud over the Indian Ocean, let's clear the fuck out there, dude. I don't care. Which is what we tend to do.
You should care,
I know,
though.
Which is what people tend to do.
Cloud out in the Indian Ocean.
Yeah.
Shut up, Donald.
It's
Just
only,
kidding, I love you.
It's pure carbon dioxide that's not visible. It's a special kind. Yeah.
There is a cloud. You can
only see it if
you can
you-
look it up right now. There
you
is a
squint your
giant
eyes.
cloud of pollution in the Indian Ocean right now.
Yeah.
That is bigger than any fucking thing that you'll
You know
see.
what's crazy is that's probably also considered part of a weather pattern.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
It's the Indian Ocean.
Yeah. But
Which is beautiful,
it's
by the way.
easy for us to
Really?
Yes.
Have you been to Sri Lanka?
No, I've been to Seychelles, and it's just like one of the most beautiful places in the world.
I've heard one of my favorite Lyft drivers is from the Seychelles, but also
The Seychelles?
the one and only.
Whatever. But do you know what the smallest island nation in the Indian Ocean is?
No,
Maldives. And it's the
that
most...
was Tuvalu.
Nope. It's the most beautiful place in the world. The Maldives. And
That's
guess what?
Objective statement at best.
Well, exactly.
Okay,
And I would actually
Given
take...
my experience of traveling the world,
Thank you.
given my experience of being on different continents and different countries and experiencing different places, I would say that what memories I have of Seychelles, it's one of the prettiest places I've ever been in my life.
Hell yeah.
That is...
I would love to go there, honestly.
I mean, like 60-foot water, crystal blue,
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect for snorkeling.
It's like the commercial. You see the commercial with the crystal blue water, and you're like, "Oh my god, I got to go there." It's actually like that.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
That's the
I'm all
Maldives
about
too. And by
Yeah,
the way,
it-
you need to look up the definition of objective and subjective.
Oh my bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
my son.
Hey, well, at least I don't talk good, but I also don't push on other people that I'm right all the time.
I don't talk, dude. I know. I'm not over it. I'm sorry if I'm a know-it-all, dude.
Of
Donald.
course you were wrong, Kurt. I'm CD. I know better.
No, I wasn't saying anything, dude. Donald, thank you for coming on and listening to my fucking bullshit and hear me rant and whatever. But, dude, it's been great, and I want to pick your brain more. And so, if we can have you back on the show, if you wouldn't mind, I would. This has been a great conversation. Have you had a good time?
Sure.
Sure. To the listener,
Of all the podcasts he's done in his lifetime before, this is a pretty decent one.
This is my favorite one to occur on a Tuesday night.
yeah. This has been the weekly InSalt. See you next Tuesday.
See, I wonder how many people make it this far. It's a longer one. I don't.
We can go over it. It's a long form podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Cut it down. Cut it down.
No, fuck it.
I don't know. It was hard to stop you from being so passionate about talking.
There's a blackjack dealer that told me you never take a 12-inch dick and cut it in half.
You just fold it.
Yeah.
Why not? You can disappoint twice as many women.